the 3-year-olds in front. They'll say it. Long way. He's coming. He's going to get there. Yes, Rondo won it. Proud by my Whisper. My Whisper won the last.
Welcome, punters, to another episode of the Whispers Racing Podcast, all age stakes day, day 3 of the championship, or in Victoria, it's Super Vobis Racing, or in Ascot, it could be the Quokka. However you want to see it, it's a wonderful weekend of racing. As always, I'm joined by the Masters winnings tipster, Matty. How are you, Matty?
Going well, Worm. How are you, mate?
Yep, going well, mate. I'm surprised you're with us after tipping John Rahm in the Masters. I'm shocked that you're here.
Johnny Rahm, I'll tell you what, some clutch shots in the last 9 holes going around Augusta. It was great to see. I mentioned that last week. His last 2 years were pretty much right off, so it was good to see him back at his best.
He flushed them better than those trees falling down on Saturday.
Everyone's okay.
Yeah, geez, what a spectacle that was. And, what a win. Playing close to 36 holes on the last day. Not that much, but very close to 30 holes, I think, in the last day. 4 shots behind. And, wow, what golf can do to you. As Keno said in the preview, if you aren't good with pressure, you'll get found out. And Brooks Koepka got found out pretty quick, didn't he?
He did. But hats off to the live golfers out there. I think they had 3 in the top 6 or something like along those lines. So I think it definitely shows that they should be playing in these top world-class tournaments like at Augusta. So, look, I wasn't expecting to see the live golfers play as well as they did, but I think it was good for golf all round.
Yep, 100%. Less is more. The old saying is, less you play, the better you are. But yeah, live golf kicks off in Adelaide next weekend, so that'll be interesting to see if those players that went so well play well. Good round, great viewing. Hats off to you, Matty. Smashed it. And then White Marlin. Well, thank you for coming. That was an easy watch.
It's always nice when we align, and you tipped it, and I'd liked it coming into the show as well. So it was good to see. And I tell you what, when it was 3 wide going around the first bend, I may have put something on the community around what the fuck is going on here. Hats off. You called that race exceptionally well. You said it'll kick on the corner. It did. It'll be under pressure with 200 to go. It'll kick away. It did.
Yeah.
You called it perfectly.
It's very, even though I paid $2, but it's satisfying when you read it to the absolute T, and it just gives that extra yell when 100 to go. You just lose it, and everyone at the pub tells you to shut up because it was a $2 pop. But that's great. Thanks for those guys that gave me a crack. But we might as well kick on with Animo v Dubai Honour, the match race. What a race that was.
Yeah, I was feeling very confident with Animo going around the corner. I thought it was in the prime position. Probably was. Dubai Honour. Wow. Very, very impressive.
Yeah. As I said, if it rang its first up run, I couldn't see anyone beating it. When Animo landed where I thought he'd land, I was shitting myself going, this could be dead set. I've got it wrong, but I've got the speed map right. But, geez, he put him away. Now, it was not an A-grade horse in Europe. It was maybe a B+ with mixed form. Now, it's beat up Animo, we could say. Now, would you take Animo to Ascot off that?
Well, Animo's dead to me because it finished 3rd and I took the Quinella. No, Animo should definitely go across to Europe.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to go to the 1600, which I think is a lot better for it. It is a 1600-meter superstar of our turf. I think 2000 doesn't. He just doesn't see it out as well. Looking at his Cox Plate win, he just got there sitting in the box seat. He got beat up on the last day of the carnival, and now this one he just doesn't see it as strong as if Mwanga's going past him. That's a bit of a concern. But 1600, Love it. Can't wait for it. Queen Anne night 1. That'd be great. James Cummings on radio has given every indication it's going, so that's great. Cabin 1 on Saturday. Now they're looking to go to the Platinum Jubilee. Matty, geez, I'm confused how this will go overseas.
Interesting call. Look, great win on the weekend. I think it's got question marks, but there are a lot of horses that have been sent overseas that we don't necessarily know if they're going to be up to it, that perform exceptionally well. So I think, again, that crew will know this horse better than none. And if they believe that it's got the ratings and got the ability to win in Europe, then, again, I'm all for sending these quality Australian horses to go up against the world's best.
Yeah, 100%. And just from memory, they have one of the smartest form analysts I know of behind them. So they go to him a fair bit, and I wouldn't be questioning him at all. If they're going, I'm confident we can have a play. The other two that are going over, obviously, we all know Artorias is going back for a hit and run mission before it goes to stud duties of 27,000 a serve, and Coolangatta is going to the 1,000 meters King Stands race. Would you entertain any of those two?
Let's see who they're up against first.
Yeah.
Look, Coolangatta, definitely improving performance. Artorias, not so much. A few more question marks about Artorias.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm just more pumped that we get to see where we sit on the world stage. It's hard to get a guide, when our sprinters are really good against they're not so good, but they're improving. So I'm just pumped. We're going to send at least 4 horses over there with a guide to see where we sit on the world stage. And I think we're going to be competitive. It's just which one. That's the question.
Don't disagree. That is definitely the point. It's great seeing Australian horses up against the world's best.
Yeah, 100%. Last talking point, Matty. Obviously, we're hitting a lot of qualifying races for the Melbourne Cup coming up. With White Marlin, nice win. He's obviously hasn't qualified. He's $8 for the Cup already. Goldman's $11 with already the golden ticket. Solcombe $15, not qualified, but might be with his rating. And then you have would you say up and coming now, Explosive Jack, 15s. Who would you lean to? We're not obviously going to take these prices, but if you had an early pick, would you entertain one?
To your point, from a betting perspective, I will not be taking any of these. At this time of year, it will need to have 3 figures for me to be putting $1 on any of them. Look, I think it's a good point around Explosive Jack, a multiple Derby winner, and then winning a Sydney Cup like it did. It won the Sydney Derby almost 12 months ago. And look, I didn't think it was travelling that well leading into this race, but clearly it was set for the race. And with that camp, I think they know how to set horses explicitly for their races. Now, Explosive Jack has only got one race in mind coming up into the spring, so definitely needs to be in consideration, but I wouldn't be taking it. What odds did you say it was? 15s?
It was 15s when they crossed the line, and it was 101 pre-race.
Yeah, exactly. So, again, as we always say, within some of these, call it lead-up races, and the Sydney Cup isn't a lead-up race, but in some of these lead-up races, if you like them beforehand, take the odds prior to the race actually jumping, because if you like it at 100s, why would you like it at 15s?
Yeah, 100%. Look, if I'm definitely not taking any of those odds, but if I had to be one, I'd definitely be with Goldman because he's qualified already. The $11, it's a bit, poison. Geordie Childs was interviewed after White Marlin, and he was asked which one would you be on, because he's been on both now, White Marlin and Goldman, and he was leaning to White Marlin over Goldman, which shocked me a little because I thought Goldman beating Solcombe quite easy would have been the easier choice. But yeah, I just think Goldman, he ticks a lot of boxes. His 2,800 form was good. His win was good. He's qualified. Explosive Jack probably qualifies with that Sydney Cup win. But he's got to go again off an injury, but you can't question that camp going forward because they can do wonderful things, and that's another one. And yeah, White Marlin, he obviously goes to Mornington Cup to qualify for the Caulfield Cup, and then he'll go to the Andrew Ransdom later in the year to qualify as well. So yeah, interesting.
Look, it's that time of year where you just need to start marking a couple of horses for target races, and that's what we can do at this time of year. There'll be a few that come through some of these winter races that definitely start preparing themselves. They might only have 1 or 2 runs throughout this preparation with the spring in mind, so definitely worth watching them.
Yeah, definitely. And then Ascot coming up as well there, Carnival, so there'll be a couple that will probably feature in Melbourne come springtime. And yeah, just keep your eye on it because there'll be a lot of maybe Australian owners purchasing from over there to get a runner in. Track stats, Sandown Lakeside rail out 7 meters. We raced on this track 7 days ago in the True. Now that was a heavy track, pushed out 7 meters, should play okay. But as always, I look for horses up on speed. Currently a soft 7. I think we improved to a 6 or a 5 come Saturday race 1. But the issue for me now is Saturday rain predicted at 3 p.m. If that arrives at 3 p.m., just shut your race book, your laptop, whatever you use as a form guide, just shut it, walk away, don't bet, because this track has been well used. It will drop away real quick if the rain is anywhere near the rain they're predicting. So also with the Vobis Day, it's a very tricky day. You can easily get sucked in because there's a lot of horses in grand finals starts before that come to this because this is a big dollar race day for the Vobis qualified Vobis horses. So they do try to go 1 extra, 2 extra. But there are races where these horses are seriously classes above against some very average horses. So you just got to maybe wait to the yard, see how they parade, because, yeah, normally I love punting on this day, but with so many weather conditions coming, track how it could play, it could be quite a scary day. So stay tuned.
Yeah, and I guess that's one way to look at it up in Sydney as well. There's a lot of these that their grand final was 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks ago. Doncaster, Slippers, whatever it might be. And a lot of these are looking towards the spring, and they need a bigger kitty than what they currently have to be racing in some of these bigger races. So just take that into consideration. Now, they'll definitely be going out there and trying to win, but a lot of these horses only had 2 races in their first prep, and now they're coming up to their 4th, 5th, or 6th race this prep. That's a long preparation for your being second up. So yeah, definitely take that into consideration, and maybe don't go as hard into some of these as you may have originally thought.
Yeah, 100%. We'll dive into them. We're both going to do race 1 from Randwick and Sandown, bets around the grounds, lots of those. Multi, pineapple, we'll get into it. Matty, race 1, Randwick, 11:30 before we even had a meat pie for lunch. You're going to try and find us a winner, 2,000 metres, Frank Packer plate.
Yeah, that's it, mate. And look, as I mentioned, a few of these horses, this is a backup plan for them. They've raced in some bigger races. So, again, just take that into consideration. It may not mean going all out. You always need to take the trainers and the owners' thoughts in mind when some of these horses do line up. But before I jump into the couple that I want to talk about, have you got the odds there for us?
Yeah, we do, mate. Everything's top odds as always. So our favourite is Ozapenko. Top odds 220, but everywhere else is $2, $1.90. Pericles $1, $2.50, $2.30-ish. Williamsburg $9. My Truth $15. Ain't He Grand $16, and Mind Space 101.
Yeah, mate. Look, there's 2 horses I want to talk about within this race, but I'm going to start with one of them first. And it's one that I don't necessarily think is well suited to this race, and that's Ozapenko. It's clearly on his grand final. Didn't like the heavy in the Doncaster. This prep, they've gone in trying to increase the bank for the spring. It's had one win and has fallen over in a couple of the other races for various reasons, track conditions, race patterns. Prior to this, as I mentioned before, it's only had 2 starts, and now it's up for its 5th start. The wide goat won't be an issue. I expect it to go back, but hasn't run the distance, and a lot of question marks. So for a 220 favourite, I really can't be steering punters into this one. But the 2 that I wanted to talk about, and the 2 that I'll be backing. The next one is Pericles at that 240 mark. Now, you could definitely say exactly the same as Osipenko. No, it's not his grand final. Again, it ran in the Derby, 2,400 metres. It probably didn't see it out, but it will get the perfect sit in a 6-horse race just behind the leaders. I expect it to be sitting in the 1-on-1. And even if this race has got some pace, which I'm not really expecting it does, My Truth will probably be the pace setter in its last 2 races, hasn't set a great tempo. So I'm expecting that this could be a little bit of a sit and sprint across the last 400, and that's where I think Pericles has the advantage within this field. Again, clearly not its grand final, but it's the horse that I believe can run better than benchmark, and the only one in this field that can run better than benchmark. I don't see that from any of the others. So I do have Pericles on top, but the other one I wanted to talk about is Ain't He Grand from the Mar Eustace stable. Now, this horse has found a little bit this preparation. It was a really solid run in the Group 2 Tulloch, and that race wasn't the worst rating. If you go back and have a look at what Williamsburg and also Pericles raced in on the 18th of March, I don't see that as being rated much differently to the race that Ain't He Grand raced in. So they're keeping it at the 2,000 metres, which I like. We know it will be able to run that distance. And if any horse is going to be improving in this race and challenging Pericles, it's Ain't He Grand. So Worm, for me, it'll be a 2-bet play. Main bet on Pericles, and I'll be having also a little bit of a crack at Ain't He Grand at around about that $13, $14 mark. Worm, how did you see this one?
That's quite scary, mates, because I've landed on Ain't He Grand. I 100% agree with you with Osipenko. Had its grand final last start over 1,600 on a heavy, ran out of its skin. Great 6, I think it finished. Now up to 2,000 after a Doncaster. Oh, geez, that's, it hasn't seen 2,000 before, so that's a negative. Might be aimed for the Brisbane Carnival now. So how do you take 220? I'm not talking to anyone out of backing it, but that's just my knocks, and I won't be touching that. Pericles.
Yeah, just to round out Osipenko, I'm pretty sure this will be its last run. Be put into the paddock down to Melbourne for the spring. Waller's got some plans in place for it. So wow. That's what I expect, and I think its purse at the moment isn't big enough to get into some of the races that they actually want to set it for.
That is quite scary if they're doing that, because it might have had enough then.
Yep.
Pericles, you could say the same thing, but it's run 2,000. It doesn't run 24, as you said. 2,000 is its hitting zone. So, yep, got to be with it. You can't question the Cummings team, or Waller, of course. But Ain't He Grand, I just keep coming back to it. Yeah, he's a 70 rate. I don't really look at that because it's 3-year-olds, but Ain't He Grand coming out of a race where Major Bill was in that race, won the Aussie Derby. In that race was Awesome John, who won the WA Derby. The 7th horse has come out last week and ran 3rd at Doomben, and the jockey gave it an absolute shit steer. So that is clearly the form race at $16. Unbelievable price. Take it now, because I reckon it starts in single figures when people start to do their form and the big punters can get involved. $16, crazy. But yeah, I'm going to have something very, very small, Ain't He Grand at that price.
Very nice. Glad to see we see that one fairly similar.
Yeah, that's scary, mate. That is quite scary. All right, I'm going to do Sandown race 1. I thought I'd try and target the early races, guys, because I don't want to be betting if the rain does come. I thought race 1 is the only one we can really get into. The odds here, the favourite is El Patroness, $2.30. Beltoro, $3.10. To be sure, $9.50. Will John, $14. Riviera Cyclone, $19. The Clement, and $20. And you can have 26 plus the rest. The speed map here, I just trying to bring this up. I've been caught off guard. I do have Riviera Cyclone as my leader coming from the outside barrier, but I reckon To Bay Shore will kick up from 1 and lead this race. And I can't see him going to frantic tempo. They'll just sit right up here just because of the ratings of these horses. They won't be going stupid here. The interesting runner here from the barrier is El Patroness from 11, 2,100 metre start. They're going to be just near that winning post. So there is a short run to that bend, and that bend is a big bend around to the back. So what does he do from 11? I think he's going to use barrier 10 Riviera Cyclone as his bunny to come across. He'll drag him across as far as he can. He'll sit outside leader. El Patroness should camp right behind them. I don't see them much speed from the others from it, but the scary thing is from 11, they could go right back to last. They could be 3 wide, no cover. Jai McNeil, I'm not going to question him at all. I reckon he puts it in the A spot. If he puts it in the A spot, beautiful. We're cooking with gas. Beltoro is going to be midfield, flying Basil from 7. Will try and keep us El Patroness wide. Kipitanu, he'll be midfield. Now, the likes of Will John coming off of Jericho, I probably think he goes back just to get himself set. I reckon he's going to be set for the Warrnambool Carnival jumps maybe, or ever Warrnambool Cup, so I can't see him being pushed along. And, yeah, most of them are all back markers. Never Again, Clement, Uniquely, and Itch, D'Amico, they're all back markers. So I think El Patroness from 11 can roll forward. In saying all that, it's pretty obvious who I'm going to land here with, and that's El Patroness. He's classes above these. Like, just look at the form it goes through. It should be giving 17 kilos to most of this field. Most of these are benchmark 70 horses, but he's only giving them 1 to 2 kilos. That's absolute stealing off those set weights and penalties races. This horse only had 1 jump out when he resumed. So I feel the first up, second up, they'll jump outs as well for it. Just a fitness builder. Aussie Cup, he was third up, ready to go. Only 3.95 lengths off Cascadian. Now, looking at this field, would any of these get within 6 lengths of Cascadian? I don't reckon. So I've using that as a big, big form line. Going back on last start with our Patroness, it loomed up when they straightened in the Queen Elizabeth to be doing something. I thought, geez, it's going to put in a big show here. But it just didn't let down. Got beaten 10 lengths. Tongue tie comes off. So I wonder if the tongue got over the bit. Winkers come off. He got a bit keen in run, or she did. So few little gear changes. I'm happy to forgive. Maybe it wasn't in the right part of the track either. But the big thing for me is first corner. What do they do? We're going to know our fate going into the first corner. Could be a bit like White Marlin, a bit wide early, but then slots in. As a 105 raider versus all these 70 raiders, I've got to be with him, with her. $2.30. I think it's still a good price to get involved. If it can't win this, I think it might be off to the glue factory because, yeah, you should be beating these up. Beltoro, clear danger, only danger. Aubrey Cup, great win. Smashed them by 4 lengths, but I think we just got to downgrade the win a bit because they went a severe tempo up front. They were just coming back to it. Beltoro peeled out at the 400 to make air to get into the race and, yeah, straighten it up. It was all over. But, yeah, I think it's just a low rating Aubrey Cup. Just remember, Aubrey Cup. Don't know if that's the right form lines we want to be with. Plus, this horse has been up since October. That's 6 months. It may have had enough now coming up against our Patroness. Yes, its grand finals, our Patroness were probably the Aussie Cup, but I forgive last start. Didn't do much. Meets an easier field. I can't talk about any of the others because I don't see them being in any contention or any considerations as they are benchmarked 70 horses versus 105 Raider, which I've clearly stated. Matty, thoughts?
Start off just on Baltoro. It's, for me, a really good 1,600 metre horse. I know it won the Albury Cup over 2000. As you said, that was a very weak field. I'm struggling to see how, if it goes up against a horse like El Patroness, how it does line up against it. It draws a lot better from barrier number 6. So I think the only way El Patroness does get done, as you outlined, is at the gates. So jumping down from Queen Elizabeth, I know it didn't run exceptionally well, but this is a 2,000 metre horse, and this is where it likes to be. Look, I wouldn't have minded a little bit of value in El Patroness rather than the 235, but you go down that list of horses, and there is not much depth.
No, it stinks.
Yeah, so as long as Jai, and you saw this last weekend, the best jockeys get it done in these type of races. So I've got full confidence that Jai's going to put this one in a decent position. I know him and Danny O'Brien would have had plenty of conversations around where to put it if it does end up in certain circumstances down that front straight. Look, you might find it is going to be 3 wide, but even down the back straight, I'd imagine he's going to find a sit. So I can see you've landed on El Patroness Worm. As I said, not too many superstars will be coming out of this race.
No, definitely. It's a nice card at Sandown. It's just when this rain arrives, and yeah, if it doesn't come, we can bet up and leads us into the community, guys. If you want to join the community, get our thoughts on Victorian racing, Matty's thoughts on where he punts mainly, everywhere and anywhere. DM one of us, join us. I'll put my email down below. Hit us up. We'll put you straight through. It's all free. You don't have to pay anything. There's no paywalls. We all do this for the love of it. Where most other WhatsApp communities or Telegrams, you're paying a service fee to join and give your thoughts. Ours is free. If you want to join for a week, leave. It's not for you. That's fine. No, won't be brokenhearted, but you might regret it because we just tip winners for fun. Also, podcast drops for the NBA playoffs next Monday. We might be a little bit late with a few games. It'll be games 1 and 2, but we can only fit Nick in because he's a very popular man and he's people don't want to talk to my people and it's hard to get him on. But yeah, we'll be previewing round 1 of the playoffs, then we'll come back for round 2, the Western Conference Finals, and obviously the championships. That is heating up. Just look at the play-ins. They have been unbelievable basketball over the last couple of days. And yeah, please subscribe, like, YouTube, any podcast platform. Get them as they drop. The podcast comes out a lot earlier than the YouTube show, so please, whichever one you like, please like, subscribe, and hey, leave your comments, what you think, what your bets are. Would love to engage with the social media people. Matty, any thoughts?
Well, the community's been up and about. Over Easter, they were everywhere and anywhere. It was good to see back in form over in WA as well. And our dog specialist also found a bit of form.
Yeah. We had one, his name escapes me, Jimbo, I think it is. He pipes in with his Perth mail and he doesn't post anywhere like we do, Matty, but when he posts, it's bet time, and yeah, he sees them quite well. And yeah, dog mail man, struck absolute gold. He, I said he'd go on a bit of a run, and he's starting to, which is good. As I said, you don't have to play; you can just sit along, enjoy the fun, and bet when you want to. But more importantly, we gamble responsibly. I need to highlight that as we are a punting show and all those ads out there. Please, guys, gamble responsibly. If you do have a problem, please call 1-800-858-858. I think the number is. So please, it's all confidential. If you do think you have a problem, please give them a call. Now let's get back on the positive sides. Around the grounds, Matty, you can kick things off. Where are we going with your bets?
All right, mate. We'll go up to Sydney. Race number 4. Match race up there. Racing 2. Really interested. Magic Time. Now, this could have almost been the pineapple for one particular horse in the race that I do like, which is Opal Ridge. Didn't race very well last week on the soft track. If you go back and forget that run, on March 18th was a big, big, big run. Now, I think Magic Time has got the ability to be a very, very good horse. And Opal Ridge is in that same bracket. So really keen to see how the two of these play. I think the play here is definitely going to be in a Quinella. I know we mentioned the Quinella earlier with Animo and Dubai, but I believe Magic Time and Opal Ridge will be the play here with the Quinella. If I had to twist my arm, I'd probably say Magic Time, but not by too much. We'll head up to Brisbane after that, and race number 2, Waller Horse, Alabia. Moving through the rounds very nicely, running over about 1,800, a little bit further. I think this will be a decent test for it, but I think it'll be up to it. So what I'm saying here is Alabia, definitely put into your place multis. I can't see this one missing a place. I'm quite confident there. You should be getting around about $1.40, $1.50 for it. So Alabia race 2 in Sydney, maybe a 1x4 play. Worm, they're my around the grounds.
Right. Okay. Yeah, definitely that race in Sydney. Opal Ridge scares the bejesus out of me because we liked it off the jump outs. And we may have missed it when it was scratched, still bleeding. But last start, I think the jockey gave up on the horse. That's probably the best words we can use on it. Don't think he really rode it out fully, and he still was hitting the line well. So that scares me when that happens. But I think Magic Time might be a very, very good horse in the making. So I'm going to definitely follow you in there. My around the grounds, we're going to go Randwick, race 7, number 2, Militarize. I'm probably butchered it, so take the fun piss out of me if you want, but we all know what it is. Race 7, number 2. How could you not be with this horse after last start? It absolutely spanked them. I just like the way this horse strides out. It's big, it's strong. I reckon it takes even further, what would you say, longer steps than the other horses. 1,600 is going to suit. It's against the same field. Nothing that it hasn't raced against is, I don't think, going to worry it. $1.90 now. I still think it's a good price. You can take anywhere down to $1.80. I think this could be a Caulfield Guineas horse in the making. That's race 7, number 2, Militarize. We'll go to Morphettville, race 8, number 10, Final Overture. Be careful here, guys. Heavy 10. I'm predicting a heavy 10 rain Friday night and Saturday at Adelaide. So I've gone looking for the mutters, and I think I found one here because come race time, will be a heavy 10. Finished 2.85 off Victorious Circle. Victoria. Oh, fuck, I butchered it. Yep. Virtual Circle. That's it. Jeez, I'm going well here, punters. Caskillen was in the race. Mr. Maestro was in the race. Handled himself quite well. Only 2.85, I said. Then it went out to its break its maiden next start in a heavy 9. So it definitely handles the conditions. Now, this prep, it tells me it wants 1,800. It won't be an issue. Took off along the side at Mornington, was the widest runner to only just go down. And through the line, this horse was getting stronger. $35, complete crazy odds. I'm having a 1x3 on race 8, number 10, Final Overture. Then I'm going to round things off at Ascot here. Race 7, number 6, Live to Tell. I can't take the glory of this horse because one of the guys in the community tipped us into this last start. But go and have a look at this last start victory. Never looked like winning. Somehow gets the chocolates and wins. I'll just say it was a very interesting ride. I think he was scared to whip the horse because he was going to win by that far or he was going to fall off. I don't know which one it was, but dead set, it was a horrid watch by the jockey. This is a serious horse. I'm hearing the camp are saying this is up there with Amelia's Jewel. If that's what they're saying, at $2, get on now because I think it starts at $1.70. That's race 7, number 6, Live to Tell. Multi, Matty, what are you throwing in?
We'll go up to Eagle Farm Race 2, Al Abia, for the place. I think I find it very tough to see it missing a place, so we'll include that. And then we'll go back to Sydney, race number 5. First up horse, Villana. I think, again, first up, exceptional form for the place. We'll put both of those two in.
Beautiful. I'll go Sydney race 7. Number 2, Matilla I'll butcher it again, the win. So that's Sydney race 7, Matilla Brisbane race 2, Al Abia, the place. Sydney race 5, Villani, the place. That comes to $3.50. Keep it short, keep it simple. We'll just take the chocolates and enjoy the victory for that 3-leg multi. Matty, pineapple of the week. What are we doing?
Yeah, after my White Marlin last weekend, good to hold on to it. Now, I've got no chance of pronouncing this horse's name after you've been butchering it for the last 10 minutes. But I'll tell you what, we had no conversation like we ever do when we're doing our form. And you went through your around the grounds.
Yep.
We went through the multi and then went to the pineapple. And I've also landed on a horse up in Sydney in race 7, which I thought was absolutely amazing. Couple of starts back. Militarize will go out there and I think teach these guys a bit of a lesson. So quite confident that it'll get the job done again. Militarize in race number 7 is where we've landed on for the pineapple worm.
Beautiful. That, as I said, we've aligned on 2 here in today's episode, and that's quite scary.
You could probably say 3 with El Patroness.
Yeah, we could. And you could say 4 with Live to Tell, 5 with Ain't He Grand. We're just lining everywhere. We might as well make them all pineapples. We'll go 6 out of 6, and we'll be won't be another episode because we won't return.
Oh, mate, that would be exceptionally satisfying. But no, I think I'd be surprised if we haven't picked a couple out for the community and the broader listeners and watchers.
Yeah, 100%. So, guys, it's a smaller episode because of the way the races are panning out. Keep it short and sweet. Just tip winners. That's the main idea. But please join the community. Get our thoughts. Follow me on TikTok. I do put a lot of content out on there with a couple of free bets a week. But more importantly, join the community. You can get them all. You get my thoughts. You can ask questions. You can post your bets, your plays, your thoughts. Follow other people's thoughts. And build great friendships along because, we're trugging along nicely. Any final thoughts on a huge weekend of gather round football and racing, Matty?
Adelaide, interesting place to be for everyone this weekend. But no, mate, I'm really looking forward to seeing footy at the community ovals over there. I reckon there will be a cracking atmosphere, and I'm sure the locals will get out and support it.
Yeah, 100%. I'm just a bit annoyed that the weather's going to ruin it tomorrow night and Saturday. The track could be absolutely busted by Sunday mid-afternoon. But no, it's great to see. It's good to see 8 of the 9 games sold out. That is unbelievable going for the Adelaide people and people travelling over. It's great to see that they're following in the NRL footsteps because that's what they've done.
Yeah, I'm not going to debate that. No, I did see Gil come out and say it's already better and they hadn't even bounced the ball.
Yeah, I love Gil. Wish we could sign him for longer, but obviously that's a different story. But thank you all for joining us again. Please like, subscribe, share, give us your thoughts. As always, Matty, thank you for joining. Hopefully you fill your pockets up. More importantly, I hope we fill your pockets up. We'll be back next week for a lot of off-peak racing. Yay to us and everyone out there. Have a great weekend, gamble responsibly, and hope your footy team wins.
Goes to show that good things do happen to bad people. So anyone out there who's up against the wall, fucking stick to it. Every cent you got, your rent, your electricity bill, if you're going to buy your missus a ring, don't fucking do it. Keep punting. Keep fucking punting.